guys? It's your girl, Myss Hobbs, and I am here with my sous chef, Caila.
Hi.
And we want to know what you chewing today. Today we are making chicken and rice with some roasted veggies. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this video. And I'm going to show you what we have done so far. Caila has done an excellent job here. She has a Cuisinart chopper that she's chopped up onions and celery with. Show them how it works, Caila.
So, you grab some.
Make a nice little pile and put it on the top.
And press down.
And there you go. You have nice chopped veggies. And most of it did actually end up on, sorry guys, end up on the cutting board.
You're about to make the mess.
And she's gonna put that over in the pot with the chicken. There's nothing in there but chicken and water right now. She's gonna do that, and I'm gonna focus over here on the vegetables that we have going on. So go ahead and take that over and put it in the pot. And I don't have the pot on or anything, so she won't have to worry about getting splashed by hot water or burned or anything like that. So over here, I have two summer squash, and 2 zucchini cut up with a little bit of onions. Nothing else in there. We're gonna go in with the garlic powder, of course. Y'all know we gotta keep the vamps away. You know, I'm going in a little heavy right here. That's okay, because we love it. We have a little Italian seasoning. I'm not gonna season this as if it were pasta sauce, but this does add a little great flavor to your roasted vegetables. And as you can see, I'm just shaking a little bit, and I'm gonna spread all of this out, so it's not just gonna be on the top, it's gonna be throughout the vegetables. I have some salt, sea salt of course, that I'm gonna sprinkle over the top. All right. And we're gonna go in with smoked paprika, but we're going in with the cayenne pepper first. Why, you might ask? Because the smoked paprika and the cayenne pepper are the same color. So you don't want to go in with paprika first and you can't figure out how much cayenne pepper you put in there, because that might be a bad thing. So not too much, just a little. And now we're gonna follow up with smoked paprika. It'll give it a nice smoky flavor and a nice little color as well. And we have some olive oil just to toss it in, because the squash is gonna make its own water while you're cooking it. So you don't need too much. You just need a little bit in order for it to, all the seasonings to stick to it well. And you know we didn't get rid of all the vampires, so we're gonna go in with minced garlic as well. Good heaping teaspoon. There we go. All I'm gonna do now here is just gonna mix everything together. Make sure everything gets a little love. A little love. Sous Chef Caila, are you done over there?
Yeah.
I need a favor, please, dear. Can you get me some butter out of the refrigerator, please, ma'am?
Okay.
And I'm just tossing to make sure everything gets coated, guys. And you can do this same recipe with or without the butter. I just like to do dollops of butter. Just a few, not a lot. We ain't going in with a whole stick of butter, y'all, with this one. All right. Everything looks nicely coated. The onions, summer squash, zucchini, Everything has a little love. All right, let me rinse my hands off real quick. Excuse me, Chef Caila. Oh, and if you guys have not noticed, Chef Caila and I are wearing our new aprons tonight.
Spody-ody, dope-alicious.
We want to thank my mom, Sandra Lewis, and my nephew, Craig Fidel Belton II. Little Craig, as we call him.
Craig.
Because these are his jeans. She made these aprons out of his jeans. So thank you for sacrificing your jeans so we can look cute in the kitchen.
I know that's right.
We
love it.
appreciate that love.
Thank you, Mama.
How do you get a millennial to give up a pair of their jeans?
Right.
Come on, y'all.
Always gotta wash your hands.
That's right.
Always gotta wash your hands. Good girl. And like I said, I'm not going crazy with the butter here. And I'm using my cleaned fingers. Cleaned fingers on the spoon. And I'm not gonna cover this at all in the oven. I'm just gonna stick it in as is. I have preheated my oven already to 375.
Ready to go.
And that is ready to go. There we go. We got some dollops of butter in there just for a little flavor. Caila, can you put that in while I wash my hands, please, ma'am?
Okay.
It smells good. She said the garlic smells good, y'all.
But I don't know what it tastes.
Oh, you'll know not too long. It tastes delicious. Excuse me, y'all.
Somehow this door just magically opened, y'all. Look at that. That's all.
The magic oven door. Y'all better get you one. Y'all better get you one. Get this butter love off my fingers.
Sorry, y'all.
Katie, he's working on that hit album for you, I promise. Thank you, Chef Caila. I will call you back when I need you.
All right.
Okay.
Say peace out, people.
Deuces.
Deuces. Shout out to Wayne Eugenio.
Wee.
All right, we're moving over to the chicken. Like I said, this is just chicken in water. I have drowned it in water for several reasons, or a couple reasons. I want to make this stock in order to flavor the rice, and I also want to make the rest of it a gravy. So it's a lot of water in here compared to the amount of chicken, and that's okay because that's what we want. And I'm adding seasoning, salt, black pepper, and I don't know what it is with chicken. I go heavy with the black pepper. I guess because of the gravy. I like a peppery gravy. So I go a little heavy with the black pepper. And excuse me because I have my seasonings back here that I need. Let's see it. Sea salt. And this is a lot of chicken. Well, actually I have 10 pieces of chicken in here. Let me turn this on high, y'all. And I have a lot of water in here. And so like I said, this is gonna be the broth for the rice as well as the actual gravy itself. So that's why I have a little extra in here. So there we go. We have the chicken. We have the celery and onions in there. If I had a bell pepper, I would put that in there as well. I did not have one because I used it the other day in my other recipe. So we're working with what we got. I'm just gonna give this a little stir so everything gets distributed evenly. And I'm gonna let this chicken, because they're relatively small pieces, I'm gonna let it cook for about 15 minutes. Once it's done that, I will pull it out of the pot, let it cool off, and then I'll shred that by hand. And once I get ready to do that, we'll go over to the rice, take some of the broth out of here to make the rice with, add the chicken, and then we'll be ready to make the gravy. So I will see you guys in just a few minutes. All right, guys, we are back, and let me get you caught up with where we are. We have the some squash and the spinach. That was in the oven, 375 for 20 minutes. At 10 minutes, I tossed it all because the water comes out at the bottom and the ones on top doesn't get cooked as much. So you want to toss it at the halfway mark, pull that out. This is the broth right here from the chicken that I cooked. And that's what I'm going to use for the gravy. I'll go ahead and turn that back on now. And once I remove the chicken from its actual broth, I put it on a pan and stuck it in the freezer for about 5 minutes. You don't want to get it cold. You just want to get it to the point where you can actually take the meat off the bone without burning your fingers. I also put a little bit of ice in the broth itself to cool it down enough just so I could taste it. You don't want to water it down completely. You just want to get it to a temperature where you can taste it and make sure seasonings are good and everything you have tastes good. I have put 4 cups of rice in here, as well as 8 cups of the broth itself. Not water, but the actual broth. And I did add in some yellow food coloring to the broth just to make it a little bright. You can have white chicken and rice, no problem. The food coloring itself is not gonna change the flavor of what you're doing. The flavor is in all the seasoning. So that's just for a little fun. So I have this, I've just turned it back on, and I did have my handy sous chef, Caila and B33.
Oh yeah.
They took the chicken off the bone for me. And like I said, these were 10 smaller pieces of chicken. Not quite as big as the ones that I've had before. So, you know, you just work with what you got. And what I'm doing is bringing this up to a boil. That's why I put it on high for right now. It will not stay on high. I'll take it down to a 4 to make sure the rice cooks through well. And I'll get rid of that. And you want to mix the chicken in with your rice. Then that way you don't have a whole bunch of rice on the bottom or a whole bunch of chicken on the top, or, you know, vice versa. It's within the actual rice itself. And I tasted the broth, and B33 tasted the broth. And I think it was B33 approved. I know I liked it.
Definitely.
Excuse me 1 minute. And I'm just going to put the top on this until it comes to a boil. Now we're going to move over here to the gravy. All that is just the broth itself. What I have here in my measuring cup is about 1/4 cup of flour. And this is what we're going to use to thicken up that gravy that's over there in the pot. And I like to do it with a fork because you don't always get all the lumps out. And an easy way to make sure you do is whisk, 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 whisk. And then when you feel everything come off the bottom, seems like it's all good, take your fork, run it through. There you go. You got big lumps right there. You can still break those up because it's not extremely hot to make dumplings in your gravy. So you're still at a good point right here. I know I'm leaning the other way, y'all. I'm sorry. So y'all can see in here. But you want to make sure you try and incorporate all the flour as best as you can. And when we tasted the broth was right on point.
Some on the side. Got some on the side.
I got some on the side. Oh, that means it's going to be real good. Real tasty. And as you can see, most of the lumps are now gone. I think that's actually stuck to the fork and it's not actually in there. And I just go through and try and take anything out. And the broth itself is coming to a boil. I can hear it over here. So I'm gonna move to the stove. And this doesn't take long at all for the gravy itself. You want to make sure you put the flour in so you don't have this big flour taste. And I could have looked for my ladle a little earlier, but I forgot. So we'll use the spoon right now. It's at a boil. You don't want to put this in there because you will definitely cause extra lumps. So what you want to do is temper your slurry, your flour and water mixture. So just slowly take some of the hot broth and add it into your slurry. Add it in, stir it up, and as you're adding it in, you will see the consistency of the flour itself starting to get thicker. And while it's getting thicker, you can touch your glass, and I use, for this, I definitely use my glass measuring cup because it's heat proof. You don't want to put it in something plastic where it might crack the actual measuring cup. And I have a plastic one too. So I do this with the glass so we don't have any problems in the situation. And I don't know if you can see how it is actually getting thick in here. I'm gonna add a little bit more, and then I'm gonna add it all into the pot. And I'm just gonna let this cook down so you don't, you know, sit there like, oh, this tastes like flour. No, it's not supposed to taste like flour. It's supposed to taste like chicken gravy. And it's nice and thick in here now. Nice thick consistency. And it's up to temperature, so you don't have any problems pouring it back in, worrying about getting the lumps in it. And I have that on high right now. I just wanted to get the broth up to temperature so I could add it in there. I'm going to turn that down. As you can see, this pot is now boiling. That's the rice and the chicken. I'm going to turn that down to a 4. Set my timer for 20 minutes. To make sure the rice is done itself. This one I'm also going to turn down because it's just going to be cooking and thickening up, waiting for the rice to get done. And it's already a lot thicker than it was 2 minutes ago. Just an easy way to make some chicken gravy out of your homemade broth that you don't have to buy from the store. All right. So I'm gonna keep stirring this and make sure everything is good. And once we come back, we should be ready to make some plates for you guys. So stay tuned. I'll see you in just a few minutes. All right, guys, dinner is done. We have chicken and rice with gravy, and we have the roasted squash here. And I want to give a special shout out to the Fritz Family Entertainment. You were the very first one to let me know what you were chewing. So I hope you guys try this out. Let me know how it is. And until next time, smooches, guys.
Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to this video. If you like this video, make sure you hit the notification bell so whenever we release a new video, you know first. Thank you guys.